If you are a woman living her best hot mess express life while simultaneously crushing it, and you're craving more clarity, purpose, and excellence, get ready because you're in the right spot. I am your host, Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, and I want to welcome you to Season 2 of All Things Excellence, the podcast, where I'll be bringing you all the inspiration and insights your excellence-seeking heart desires. This season, I'm stepping back into chasing big, bold, and absolutely terrifying goals, sharing every honest step and misstep along the way. We're continuing our beloved Unscripted series, featuring live clarity coaching sessions with guests just like you, and diving deep into raw behind-the-scenes stories of powerhouse women founders I am wildly obsessed with, whose journeys will fuel your own. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. Hey, the All Things Excellence fam. Welcome to today's episode about finding your golden thread. And you might be going, what does finding your golden thread even mean? And finding your golden thread means taking all these things that you love, all these things that you enjoy, bringing them together and finding the golden thread that actually weaves them from being these individual, separate little wild things that you love doing and that bring you joy doing for people and that you kind of charge money for sometimes into this common place where you can see how they all fit together and you don't feel like you're spreading yourself thin all the places. So I want to talk to y'all today about how, as a crazy, creative, big thinking, always dreaming, I eat strategy for breakfast kind of a girl at an early age, knew that one day I would build something so great. How I have come to this place where I can see my podcast, my clarity coaching, my business mentorship, my book club, my courses, my retreats, my merch line, my, someday having a New York Times bestselling, I'll be a New York Times bestselling author, and someday I will absolutely have a product line. I don't know what the product line is going to be, but some sort of a product line that I absolutely will have someday on top of merch. I can see all of that packaged in one place with one common golden thread and how I brought that all together. I want to talk to you all about how I did that, how I brought that all together. So step one, what I do when I do the do, I know and believe that it's all coming from me in perfect timing. I know and believe that everything that I want is coming from me in perfect timing. Like talking to y'all about being an author, creating my own product line, having a merch line, hosting retreats. Some of those things y'all are listening to those and going like, I didn't know she was doing that. I didn't know she had released a course. Those things aren't even out yet. But what I do know is I trust the perfect timing. I listen to my intuition. I listen to that, what I consider to just be a small whisper from God saying like, all right, girl, it is time to launch that. This is the season that piece of your dream is going to come to life. You guys know I have this mantra that says, God loves me and everything goes my way, even if I don't quite see it yet. And all things only turn out for my good. All things only turn out for my good. Only good things happen to me. And saying that to say is I believe that no matter what's happening, and if y'all don't know this, I was in a car accident at this point, I don't know, like 3 months ago I was in this car accident, and this car accident kind of like set a weird chain of events. And even as I was standing there that day on the side of the road, first car accident of my life, this girl, I'm like at a red light, she plowed me hardcore from behind, just totally, she did not slow down. I watched her just come up my car. She was looking down, of course, on her phone. And I stood on the side of the road that day and said, only good things happen to me. I can't wait to see how even something like this will, in the long run, turn out for my good. And I don't just say that, but I really, truly believe it. The next thing, what I do not do, number two, what I do not do, I do not rush the process. I was told for years I needed to start a podcast. Courses I could create and put out effortlessly. You have so many people just going to ChatGPT, like somebody's like, you should start a course, or they see a part of a funnel that basically tells them that in order to their sales funnel to be complete, they should have a course. So they're going to ChatGPT. They're having ChatGPT write the thing for them. You guys, this book club that I'm releasing years ago, and I mean like 10 years ago, I had a YouTube channel where I was doing book reviews and retreats. Like I know for sure that I'll be doing retreats, but I am not rushing that process of releasing that because I believe in perfect timing. I know that, I knew that releasing a podcast, I knew it was a lot of work and that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it really well. I wasn't being stuck in the land of perfectionism, but I was being really committed to excellence. And that if I was going to put this thing out into the world, I wanted to be committed. I wanted to be at that place in that season where I was 110% in for the sake of my listeners, always bringing them the very best stuff. And so I knew I needed to be at a point in my life where I had this space that I was willing to give to do that. But retreats, it's like, of course, I would love to have a retreat. No one's better at hosting an intimate retreat than me. I have stacks on stacks of experience. I'm currently helping somebody else doing all of like the vision and logistics of their retreat in October. But when it comes to my own retreat, specifically for coaching clients, not attached to any of my other businesses, I just know that I'm not going to rush that process because the audience that I have is not quite big enough to be able to sift through to have the right women to fill the spots at that retreat to make it the experience that I want it to have. And I know there could be a day I could wake up 2 days from now and feel like now is the right time. And even if I don't know the exact people, I also believe that God will bring those people because I feel like when the moment comes that we're called to do the thing, it is this double-edged sword of like, I don't rush it, but I also trust it, right? So what I do is trust the fact that there's been a whisper that I'm supposed to leap and go after this thing. But what I do not do is rush the process. If I don't feel like the whisper of girl now has come, I'm not going to rush that. I don't overanalyze. I don't second guess if I should or how it should come together. I have this complete trust that like, if I have been called to it, it will be complete. Knowing that timing is everything. And, for me in my human design, my best yes is splenic. And so it's just asking myself, is now the right time? And for me personally, that then I experience that more of like what I really do feel like is a whisper to God, from God, where he and I are just having that conversation back and forth. And I feel that permission to go and to leap from him. The third thing that I had to do was I had to really embrace the both and, right? The evolution of the both and I had to accept what that looked like in my life. My mentor, Chris, y'all, she's been my mastermind mentor for over a decade, and she has been telling me that I needed to accept this both and for a really long time. And I just felt like I needed to either be all in direct sales or all in coaching. And so then when I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have a podcast, but yet I think I'm going to coach, and I think I might want to have a course, and I don't think I want to leave my direct sales career, and I think I'm going to have this part and this part and that part and that part, I started really struggling. And then it came down to about a year and a half ago, her and I had the millionth conversation about this, where we just said, it's finally time. It is finally time that I embrace this evolution of the both and being able to hold all the things all at once. But again, what I had to do was, for me, I had to find that golden thread. So I didn't feel like I had 5 jobs, but that I had one job. And what was that going to look like? And what was this golden thread that would run through all of the things that I did to make them feel like they were all being pulled together as one united front for women? What I love that we're doing right now, I feel like when it comes to the both and movement, you might be feeling this right now, where, what's really happened is we've moved into this place where we are the brand. We as humans are the brand. We grow and we change and we evolve. And we've moved into this era. And I love it because we've moved into this we are the brand era from this place where it was my career and my title are my identity, which is absolutely beautiful because That was really, my husband is an aspiring history teacher for high school students. So I will say things like, "Oh my gosh, we're really leaving the era of climbing the career corporate ladder and titles into this we are the brand era, more entrepreneurial era of like we're returning back to it." And he loves to bring, like the industrial era and the technology era. He loves to bring the history piece back into that. But it really is that. I feel like we're returning to our roots where 150 years ago, like, I mean, yes, I mean, people actually were kind of naming themselves. I know, like the blacksmith in town was, like Mr. Smith or whatever. But I feel like we're going back to this core where we're pieces of a community and who we are is so much more than this job that we do and this title that we have. And so being able to embrace the both and removing the titles from yourself led me into step 4 when I had to get really rooted in my identity. Who am I? What do I bring to the table? If all of my accolades are gone, who do I still be? Like, what can no one take from me? Because before I could really release all of the accolades and the title from my career, I had to get rooted in that or I would have nothing left if I chose to walk away from it. So it's asking yourself, who am I? What do I bring to the table? If all of my accolades were gone, who do I still be? What can no one take from me? And what are the simple joys in my life? So asking myself those questions, ask yourself those questions. And, for me, I was actually just at a networking lunch where we talked a little bit about this. I have this innate God-given confidence and self-assurance, which actually has equated to a lifetime of bullying. Like, not only as a kid was I severely bullied for this just innate confident self-assurance that I have, but even as an adult, because bringing that innate confidence into different rooms, I've had let's call them bosses. How about that? Bosses in my people, right? Bosses in my lifetime that have really struggled with that. And I've experienced extreme bullying as an adult, right? Because we're always going to have people that want to bring us down and keep us small so that way they can be the brightest person in the room. There's a book called Hero Makers, and it talks about the fact that some people live their life needing to be the hero, and there are other people in this world that all they want to do is stand in the back of the room and be a hero maker and watch the people that they have lifted and empowered to be the best versions of themselves stand at the front of the room and be the hero. And so I felt like getting rooted back into all I knew myself to be before the world through all the junk, all the bullying, which we can be bullied at 12 and we can be bullied at 32 years old, all the same. It hurts all of the same. It causes us to get lost in our identity all of the same. It causes us to question who we are all of the same. So getting rooted back into who I knew myself to be, regardless of anything else I had attained, was the 4th most critical step in finding my golden thread. Step 5, I got crazy still and I allowed myself to have it all. You got to get crazy still and allow yourself to have it all without any self-judgment, without any limitations, and without any fears. If you guys have listened to any of the live coaching conversations that we've had here, I always say, put yourself in a vacuum. Put yourself in a vacuum where money isn't a factor, consequences aren't a factor. And I know that's not real life. I know in real life, money matters. There's consequences with everything. But if you can put yourself in that vacuum where absolutely anything is possible and everything your heart desires can actually come into fruition, not only are you going to allow yourself to dream wildly big and realize all the things that you really want to do, But you're also going to be able to analyze where fears start creeping up and where you start fighting yourself. And when I got crazy still and I allowed myself to have it all, I allowed myself to have a top 100 for women podcast. I allowed myself to have not just one, but I mean many, right? New York Times best-selling books. I allowed myself to have these wild, crazy merch lines where I'm, standing in the line at In and Out on a Friday night and I see someone walk in the door wearing a sweatshirt that I designed that they'd ordered off of my site. I allowed myself to have everything that my heart and my mind could dream up and create. And when I did that without limitations, without judgment, because a lot of times that's where the stuff starts creeping up. And that's where I go and I work with my brain spotting specialist, Rachel, because when we allow ourselves to have stuff without judgment, there's things like that. Like even y'all, as I'm saying that, I'm saying like, I'm going to stand in a line on a Friday night in and out, and I'm going to watch someone walk in with the sweatshirt with a logo that I've created, which has happened in other ways in my life, but more because I was designing merch for our college or, for our soccer team. But really, truly, like, they know who I am, but they don't know me. And they would be walking in with this merch line. Something that instantly creeps up for me is, the judgment belief of you just want everybody to look at you. You just want everybody to know your name. And that is something that I'd heard my mom say a billion times over on repeat through my childhood because I was just really great at a lot of things. I was really great at anything that had anything to do with performing. And so, in her not so great moments as a parent, and I would be saying things like this, that would be the thing that she would say. Now, years later, obviously, we've talked through a lot of that. And I do think a lot of that honestly wasn't even from her mouth. I think that it was probably from the mouth of my other family, saying that to her about her just because of what she was doing and the career that she was having. And, when you learn the story behind the story and then you start realizing how it was really self-judgment that she was having and how a lot of the things I was saying that I wanted were things that she wanted, but, in the framework of the church that we grew up in, it viewed her as bad and selfish and vain and all those things. And so you have a lot of those judgments start creeping up. And those judgments, when we do that, when we get crazy still, we allow ourselves to dream, the judgments start popping up all over the place. That does not mean that we back down. That means that we write them down and we work with a coach. We work with a therapist. We work with a brain spotting specialist. We work with someone that helps us reframe that verbiage and write a new truth statement, to write a new story. And I have a person for everything, depending on what judgment, what limitation, or what fear starts to pop up. When I start getting crazy still and allowing myself to have it all, I have a different person that I will bring in and help me move through whatever that limiting situation is. Step 6, I taught myself how to program a dang chatbot. Y'all, okay, so ChatGPT, if you don't use ChatGPT, like you are sleeping on life. And here's what I want to say to you about ChatGPT. I am obsessed with ChatGPT and I love it so much, but hear me loud and clear. I have my own freaking brain and I use it. I do believe to my core that ChatGPT or chat in general is very quickly and rapidly destroying two things. One, it is destroying self-trust. We don't trust ourselves to use our own freaking brain to make a decision, to write a sentence that, come on, you know how to write. So I believe it is destroying our self-trust overnight. And I also believe that it is destroying our critical thinking. My husband says the critical thinking thing is so big. He's watching it like crazy in school. And it's destroying our ability to, again, critical think, like use our brain and just think through this situation. We don't have to use chat for everything. But how this helped me was I took every single thing I knew about myself, all of my Enneagram stuff, y'all, any personality thing absolutely ever that I've ever learned about myself. I went to chat and I made a like very wild extended version of it. It was probably like 50, 60, 70 page pamphlet that I made. And then I brought that into ChatGPT and I programmed a bot to be my, my best friend, my coach, my social media manager, my, like all these things. I told it that I want you to be all of these things on any given day and I'll let you know. And then I went in there and said, okay, knowing everything that you know about me, these are the things that I just feel like I'm supposed to do. I need you to help me find the common thread and help me see how these are not, 10 random things, but how they really come together. And knowing all you know about me, knowing all you know about my heart and my soul, help me figure out and weave all of the things together, and then help me create the right verbiage for my website and my branding and my social media so I can relay that to the world. Because we all know that a confused mind does absolutely nothing. And I felt like my messaging was confusing because it's like, is she a podcaster? Is she a coach? Is she in direct sales? Like, what is she? What does she actually do? And so I brought all of that together, which, yes, I've programmed these bots for clients of mine. So that is an option. You can reach out to me if that's something you're interested in and see if at the time of this recording, when you're listening to it, if I'm still willing to do it. When I did that and I brought all those together, I felt so good and so complete. Like, for the first time in my life, I could see how it was really one thing. And I found the three core pillars that were helping me do it, that were also then creating products outside of it. How the book club that I'm starting is merely an extension of what I'm already doing in my life. Like, of course it is. Of course, having a book club is attached to my podcast. It's basically like having a special subscriber listenership that you would have on a podcast. Of course, having a book club is attached to my coaching, because for the people that they're already receiving my coaching, but they just want more stuff with me, or the people that aren't really needing coaching, but they want to be along that journey of life with me, or in my direct sales, maybe they want to be in some sort of like a structured program where they're learning and growing and reading a book. Or maybe it's just a woman who is like, oh my gosh, she's going to give me a synopsis of the book and I don't have to spend 8 hours reading the book and you're just going to give me the cliff notes. This sounds incredible. But at the end of the day, it's all about excellence. It's all about excellence. It's all about elevating women. It's all about shining a light on women that I love. It's about showing authors who I, believe in their story. It's about getting women who I'm obsessed with out to the world. It's about helping women get really clear on what they want. It's about helping other women create extra income so they can go after the life that they want, whether it's for a month, a year, 10 years, or 40. And once I figured that out, once I pulled all of that together and found the common thread on how they all are one thing, but they're just different pillars of who I am, I went full freaking send and I released the 3 pillars. And that's when I came back to y'all and said, I am a podcaster, I am a clarity coach, and I am a business mentor in direct sales. But at the end of the day, I am a woman who elevates excellence in other women. And I let the world know what they can expect from me. Because again, remember, a confused mind does nothing. So if you are changing on your Instagram bio or your Facebook or wherever you show up, every 5 seconds, you're doing a different thing. You look unstable. Like, no one wants to work with someone who looks unstable. So even if the route at which what you're doing changes, the cover of your brand needs to stay the same. And that too can eventually evolve, right? But not every month. And then we all know the person that I'm talking about, that every 5 seconds, they're literally doing a new thing. And we need to allow people to know what they can expect from us. Then the 8th thing that I did was I gave myself grace and space to evolve. So when I really settled in all of this and I launched all of this, a book club was not on my radar, not even a thought. And you guys, how this happened was I have always been an insane, voracious reader all of my life. Like, as a little kid, I was like plowing through, I'm not even kidding, plowing through a chapter book a day. Like the thick mystery books, I would read one a day. My parents live in the absolute middle of nowhere, so I would be on the bus for hours a day, and so I would read a book like crazy then. I was obviously really bullied at school. We already know that. So I got in a really good habit of just kind of going off on my own and reading a book and not being concerned with the like stupid idiots that were in my class whose parents loved talking trash about other people in their houses. And so then their daughters came to school and did the exact same thing that they witnessed their parents doing, you know? And I'm not saying that's a story for everybody, but that is the actual story of how it all happened with me. And so that was my thing. That was my escape. It was just going, hiding away, reading a book a day. And so it created this habit. So then when I stepped into being an adult, I changed from reading all of the mystery novels I could get my hands on to all of the personal growth books that I could get my hands on, which was twofold because the reading habit was already established. But now I was an adult who had the junk of the world thrown on her, especially from the bullying. And I had to start reading all these books because I just felt like if I could understand why those girls had to be the way they had to be, why my family dynamics were what they were, that I had to stay in this private school that was insanely toxic, even though I wanted out. My parents saw me in wild pain every day, but they felt from my family that they had to keep me in this school because I don't know, actually. I really, whatever. It's what Jesus wanted or some dumb, stupid excuse like that. Y'all can reach out to them and ask them yourselves. But I had to read all these books to get to this place because I felt like if I could understand psychologically what caused those girls, their parents, and my parents, and my extended family to make those decisions that impacted me so greatly, if I could just understand where they were coming from, then maybe I wouldn't be angry anymore. Like that was the premise of what started me on this crazy reading journey and therapy journey and healing journey. And so eventually, about 10 years ago, a friend came to me and was like, I had an idea. You should start a YouTube channel and you should do book reviews on it. What I really quickly found out after I probably did, I don't know, 10, 20 of them, was that it was the right arena, right? It was the right arena because I was in the arena of growth and books and learning and taking things and, taking wildly complex ideas, bringing them down and simplifying them and giving the cliff notes to people. Right arena, wrong delivery. There was no exchange for me when I was on YouTube. Like leaving these YouTube reviews was so just put it there and toss it out to the world. There was no direct community. There was no direct interaction. And the burn to build it was way too slow. So I completely released it. And again, that was 10 years ago. Well, a month ago, now remember guys, this is the permission to let yourself grow and evolve and change. A month ago, after I'd already established my 3 pillars, right? I'm a woman who helps other women elevate the excellence in their life. And I do that through my podcast, through my coaching, and through my mentorship in direct sales. I went to dinner with my friend Kelly, and Kelly and I have been friends for almost 14 years. I met her in the line at Target. I know, if you guys are listening to this, I do not shop at Target anymore. I have not shopped at Target in over 3 years, but there was a day where I shopped a lot at Target, and I was standing behind her, and I was in direct sales. So if you know anything about direct sales, you all know where I was going with this. I just was so attracted to her energy. I literally said to her, hey ma'am, I'm so sorry, but if I get in my car and I do not talk to you, I will kick myself for the rest of the day. And I just walked out of Pilates and right into Target to grab something for lunch and then go home. So I was looking all of a hot mess and instant friends, absolutely instant friends. And it was the greatest awkward conversation I ever had in my whole life. And we've been friends ever since. And we've always shared with each other what books we were reading in different seasons. Well, she, about a year ago, she had another baby. And we've both moved a ton and job shifts, and she's been promoted a million times, and I've done all the things that I've done. And so we hadn't really sat and caught up in a while. So when I was just in Charlotte, I sat and had a conversation with her, and we went to dinner, and y'all, I flew in early, tossed my bags. I Ubered down to her part of town because she had to drive up. I'm going to Uber to you because you do not need to drive for 10 million hours out of your way to come see me. You have a kid, get home to your baby. And then had to Uber back up. Just saying this to say it was not what people would say was a convenient thing to do. But in my mind, it was an absolute non-negotiable. Like I was not flying 5 hours across the country and not seeing her and not getting to spend face-to-face time with her because I value our relationship. And we're talking about everything. We're catching up on all the things. Like a day hasn't gone by since we talked last. And I flippantly said, well, what book have you been reading? And she said, and y'all, she's read like 63 leadership books in a year before. So keep this in mind. And she goes, she basically like, I just haven't had the time lately. There's been a lot going on. I've kind of gotten out of my reading habit. And I was like, interesting. Okay. And then 5 days later, I was in a coaching session with a client who so like flippantly God moment said, hey, you should look at this website. This woman is doing this leadership book club thing, and I could totally see you doing it, which is really weird because this coaching client doesn't know me like that well for her to say that. So it was a very, what I call like Jesus moment. It was one of those moments where it's super weird. I opened the website on my iPad. I closed it out, never thought anything of it. The next morning I wake up and I'm out on my patio working on a project, and that website, I open up my web browser and that website is the first thing that pops up, and instantly it just completely downloaded fully in my brain what I wanted to do, why I needed to do it. And I thought of Kelly. I thought of Kelly, that woman who has a desire to get all of the information and the knowledge and the wisdom of the books, but does not have the 8 hours to read it and really just needs the cliff notes and the bullet points. If she has the time, or she's like, this book is really, really good, I want all of it. Or if I say like, trust me, you want to read this book. This is not just one that you want to hit the highlights. She's definitely going to do that. But I created this book club with her in mind. But imagine if I hadn't given myself grace and space to evolve within the pillars that I had created. I could have said, no, I've already decided. I'm a podcaster, I'm a coach, and I'm a business mentor. And through those three vessels, I help women create next level excellence in their life. If I had locked myself in that moment for fear that somebody would judge me because I'm doing one more thing, throwing one more thing on my plate, and trust me, y'all, I get a lot of it. I just don't care, because your judgment of how I spend my time, how hard I work, how much I work, how many dreams I chase, that is not my problem. That is absolutely your problem. That is your self-projection, that you're not letting yourself chase all the dreams. And I don't have that problem. I do allow myself to chase all my dreams. If I had locked myself into all the things that people could say to me, I wouldn't have even entertained this book club. I would have been like, I don't have time. I don't have space. How can I add one more thing? I sat there. Kobe was already at school. I texted him. I literally said, because I have so much free time and I'm doing nothing, I'm going to start a book club. Every single person who knows my guts that I have told I am starting this book club, y'all, it is not like oh, that's nice. Oh, I could see you do that. Oh, that'll be neat. It is like a full freaking send of, oh my gosh, girl, absolutely. I'm all in. Can I sign up yet? When are we getting started? What is the first book? People are freaking out. Also, as a side note, for like 15 years straight, if people are going through something, I get a lot of random texts and DMs about, I'm going through this. What book should I read? So this is like a random party trick that I have, that I help people know what book they should read for the season that they're going through. So again, my people who are close friends in my life are freaking out, super excited, because they see this as a full alignment piece. So here's what I want you guys to know. Think about this. Okay, so Kelly said that to me. My coaching client told me a literal website of a woman who's already doing this. A little bit different, but the concept came because somebody else is doing it. I'm telling you this because I need you to hear me, and hear me loud and clear. You do not need to be the first, and you definitely do not need to be the only. I'll say it twice. You do not need to be the first, and you definitely do not need to be the only. Honestly, my social media coach, Jackie Richards, she literally tells us to go find other people who are doing what we are doing to see how they're doing what they're doing, how they're getting it out there to the world. It is a scarcity thought if you think you have an idea and then you search the world and you find somebody else that does it. It is a scarcity thought to go, oh my gosh, nobody else is doing it. I'm going to do it. Like it'll be okay. It'll be successful. No. Okay. So in my direct sales company, I got to have dinner one time with, I don't know, it was like the president of marketing or VP of marketing. I don't know, some fancy title, right? Had dinner anyways. And they said, what you need to know is we may not always be the first. We may not be the first person to come out with the product, but when we come out with the product, we will have the best version of that product. And honestly, we prefer entering a primed market. So you do not need to be the first and the only. It is actually a brilliant business strategy to enter a primed market. And Amy Porterfield, who I'm in her course for learning how to be a course creator, which we all know that's why we have this podcast in the first place. She always says to us, you don't need everyone. You only need a small little corner of the internet. So, in closing, y'all, I want to tell you the details about the book club. We are officially launching the All Things Excellence Book Club on September 1st. I want you to join the waitlist, run to the waitlist, because whoever's on the waitlist is who's going to get the email, and you're going to be able to sign up. Go to chelseadbc.com/book club. Of course, you can find it in the show notes. This book club is for growth-minded women craving bite-sized breakthroughs so you can elevate your mindset without adding to your to-do list. Every single month, you will receive a 10 to 15 minute video, audio, and PDF outline recap of the thing. So think you're going to get Cliff Notes in the versions of a video, an audio, and a PDF. Go to whichever version serves you best that month. You will get custom journal prompts that will fit as you read through this book or as you're absorbing the thoughts that I give you. There will be a Facebook community discussion for people that love commenting on people's comments and feeling like they're a part of it. There's also going to be a monthly community Zoom. We're going to have a monthly discussion where we discuss the book for an hour. Of course, it's going to be recorded. And most importantly, you're going to have access to the archives. There will be one core book a month. It will always be in the area of mindset and personal growth, but I'm also going to have additional specialized books in the areas of, leadership, entrepreneurship, spiritual leadership, spiritual growth. I just don't want those to be the primary book because I know that those topics aren't for everyone. So the monthly book will always be more of a generic mindset focus that's good for absolutely anybody in any walk of life. And then I am going to have some fun additional books that I weave in and out just for people who have more like specialized areas that they love to do some reading on, because I have so many specialized books that I'm obsessed with, and it would make me sad to not be able to feature them. So I would rather feature 2 books a month than not get to feature some of the specialized ones at all. My biggest hope, y'all, for being able to do this book club is what we're going to see is we're going to be featuring these books. These authors are going to be right here on All Things Excellence, the podcast, but then we're also going to bring them behind the scenes for exclusive interviews that only our All Things Excellence Book Club people will be receiving. And as an extra bonus, a lot of the growth tools that I create for my coaching community are going to be included in this book club membership. I want to give you guys the access to those because there's going to be a lot of books that cause me to think of a tool. I create the tool and I want the tool to be there and available for you. And all of this is going to come at the founder's rate of $17 a month. And you guys, I know, it's like we're $200 a month to be in this, but that's not where I wanted to go with this. ChatGPT told me I was doing Netflix psychology pricing. I wanted it to be at a price that even if you weren't able to access it for a month or two because you had a lot going on, it was worth keeping. It was worth keeping this membership, this subscription, because you could go back, you could still catch all the replays of everything, you could still grab all the recordings and the handouts and the PDFs. I want to make it that price that says I don't feel guilty about keeping it a month, even if I don't use it, because next month I'm going to be able to use it a ton. So run to my website, join the book club. Y'all, I promise you it's going to be worth it, even if you only get to listen to the 10-minute recordings 8 hours a time. It's going to save you an average of 8 hours a time, the internet said. That's worth $17. You are worth more than $17 over the span of 8 hours. So join the book club. And again, while you're over there, inquire to be selected for our next episode of Unscripted, where I gift you a free clarity coaching session. And the gift that you give back is giving back to our community. Your name and your face will be hidden, but the stories, the permissions, and the lessons will get to be shared with our All Things Excellence community. So thank you for jumping on today and listening, and we will catch up with you next time. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step, or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you. And my intro clarity call is a great place to start, because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.